Jy is ingeskakel op Radio Overberg op die frekwensie 101.8 FM en dis tyd vir ons om te gesels met Anthony van Simply Finance. Nou ek gaan heel waarskynlik Afrikaanse vrae en Afrikaanse goed sê, maar Anthony is Engels sprekend. Hallo Anthony.
Hello Annemarie, hoe gaan het?
Oh yeah, we can't complain. No, I mean no, I'll do it in English. On your chin. Okay. Anthony, Simply Finance, what is it?
Annemarie, it's an insurance business that's part of the Hollard Group, and we specialize in flexible benefits for farm workers and other blue-collar employees in the agricultural sector. We also do, for example, security, hospitality, etc., but we've got a particular focus on the agricultural sector.
Okay, because I see your branding says Simply Boer. And you're looking after the farmer and placing him in a position to look after his employees.
Yeah, exactly. So we have what's called a group cover policy, where an employer like a farmer or someone who runs an agribusiness like a seed business can take out a policy for their staff, and that policy can be, for example, funeral cover. If they take funeral cover, it's substantially cheaper than the employees can get for themselves. But also, very importantly, because the farmer's paying the premiums get paid, so the cover stays in place. And if there's a claim, the farmer or the producer can make sure that the claim gets paid. So it's a very efficient way to add value to your employees. You can save them 80, sometimes even 85% relative to what this would cost them to buy for themselves.
You gave me you told me about it earlier, but I need you to tell them about the cost. You've got an example. So
so an example, we've just quoted for a big farm up in KZN, and for 20,000 Rand family funeral cover for their staff, which means it covers the employee, their spouse or their wife or husband, and all their children under 21. To give them 20,000 Rand of cover, in other words, each person gets 20,000 Rand of cover, would cost about 25 to 30 Rand per person. So for them to buy it themselves, A, it would be difficult to get, and B, it would cost at least 150 Rand from most providers.
Sure, and it's down to $25 a month.
Yes, that's correct.
My goodness. And that's for 20,000 rands worth of value of
and that's covering multiple people. It's not just for the employee. So that would cover, for example, if the employee's spouse died, they would get 20,000 Rand for the funeral.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's absolutely brilliant, and I think that makes it more affordable for the farmer to supply that extra service to his workers, which are usually loyal to them.
Yeah, I think, it's a great way to show your employees you care, but also we've done some research where farm workers are sometimes spending 300, 400, 500 Rand a month on funeral cover. So by providing cover to them, they can cancel some of that cover and then have more money at the end of the month.
Yes.
So it's a good way to actually, give your staff additional money without actually necessarily having to pay them much more.
Yeah, especially with the fixed rates that they have to pay their farmers now, so they can use that money towards that.
Yeah, exactly. That's correct.
That would be great. Jy kan nou gaan en jy kan 'n polis uitneem vir jou werkers as boer en dit gaan jou geld spaar, want as jy nou op hierdie stadium mense onthou vir 300-400 Rand betaal per werker, kan dit jou so min as R25 'n maand kos, en dan kan jy daai geld vir jou werker gee as 'n ekstra inkomste.
Well, actually what would happen is they would just cancel the payments that they're making to someone else, and they would save that money. So effectively the farmer's making that money available to their employees.
That's brilliant. Or you can put it towards your production or employ more people at the same time. Let's talk about Mahala. and Mahala means for free.
Ja, that's right.
Yeah.
Annemarie, so Mahala is an offer that we have at the moment for employers who want to first see what it's like to engage and work with Simply. We offer 10,000 Rand per employee funeral cover for a year for free. Wow. And what that does is it means that there's an opportunity to see what it's like to work with us, to keep your schedule up to date, to see how we pay claims, etc. So for groups of up to 200 employees, farmers can get hold of us, and we're very happy to do it for a year, no strings attached. If at the end of the year you don't want to continue, no problem. If you do want to continue, then you'd have to pay at that point. But as I said, it's like 15 Rand per person if you want to keep paying. So it's a very nice way to try before you buy.
Wow, for a year.
For a year, yeah.
Goodness, yeah, that is absolutely brilliant. And then the other thing is, if you carry on, then you would have had time to actually generate a bit more money and make sure that you've got those funds available.
Yeah, exactly. And something that we do is we try to make it as low admin and low hassle for our customers as possible, and also to make the cover very flexible. So we've got some producers that want to take quite high levels of cover for their staff. They can then build a policy that makes sense for them. They can take life cover, they can take disability cover and funeral cover. But we also have the ability to just do 10,000 Rand of funeral cover. So, depending on what the employer's appetite is, we can generally find a policy that suits their pocket. And in all cases, employees will be very grateful.
Okay, do you have a limited amount of time before you can actually get your benefit towards that? How many months?
Like a waiting period?
Yes.
No, so that's one of the beauties of group cover compared to retail cover. So even our retail product, there's a 6-month waiting period on our life and disability benefits. On the group cover, the cover is immediate.
Wow.
Okay. The other thing about group cover that not many people know is that because of the fact that there are a whole lot of people and the risk is pooled together, okay, employees who have health conditions like HIV or diabetes can get full cover. So they're covered for both natural causes, disease, or accidents. If they were to try and get that cover themselves in the market, they wouldn't be able to get it because they'd have to go through what's called an underwriting process, a medical process. And because they've got those conditions, typically a provider would not give them full cover. So in addition to being able to save employees money, employees can also make benefits available to their employees that they otherwise would not be able to get in the market, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does. Actually, it makes a whole lot of sense. I don't know how you can not use it. Anthony, and I would like to know, how do we get hold of you? Do you have a website? How do we go about getting to contact with Simply Boer? Simply Finance.
No, thanks, Anna-Marie. Yeah, so you'll see our articles in some of the agricultural publications. We often have articles in the Harvest magazine, and we've got an article that's going to be next month in Grain SA. We have a website, simply.co.za, so it's really simple, simply.co.za. Yeah. Otherwise, we are at stand 64 in the BKB Saal hierdie week.
Yeah.
So mense kan kom kyk self.
Yeah. And come and make use of the Mahala offer while it's there. I mean, it's not going to cost you a thing.
Absolutely, yeah. It's not going to cost you a thing. There's absolutely no downside to it. And if any of your staff sadly were to pass away, there'd be 10,000 Rand cover for their families for a funeral, so it's a no-brainer to come and do that, in my opinion.
Yes, I think that would be the best thing to do, is come and sign up for it. What are the terms and conditions on that?
On Mahala, basically, you've got to have at least 5 staff, and up to 200. Basically, there's no other T's and C's. I guess employees must be either permanently employed or on contracts of at least 6 months. They must be working legally in South Africa. So in other words, you could have a Zimbabwean person working for you. As long as they've got a work contract, that's fine. And they need to be working at least 20 hours a week for you. Okay. But those things we can explain at the stand. We've got a whole team of people walking around in Simply Boer outfits this week. So swing by, we've got some stickers, we've got some merchandise there. We'd love to chat to people and try and, explain what we're doing.
You've got simply nothing to lose.
Exactly, Anna-Marie. Thank you. We might use that.
Yes,
thanks.
Anthony, I truly appreciate you coming here, and thank you for being so generous towards our farmers, because they are our future.
Yeah, we feel the same. It's a huge sector, and it's a sector that historically has not had access to benefits because they're generally difficult to get and quite expensive, and so we're hoping to make a positive impact here.
Thank you for that. We
All
truly
right.
appreciate it.
Bye, dankie, Anna-Marie.
Thank you. Hope to see you next year, back
Definitely.
at Radio Overberg. All right. Thanks, Amal.